viewers, and welcome back to the Southman Auto Channel. So got an 03 Ford F150 here. Customer complaint is the battery dies overnight. Needless to say, I tried to do a video on it yesterday, but when I checked it out, everything was fine. I actually checked it out 3 times in a row. What that entails is, obviously checking the battery voltage, battery condition. It's got a new battery. Apparently the battery's been changed 2 times now. Continues to happen. Had it at another shop. They shot the parts cannon at it. They did an ignition switch. They unplugged. The radio lays on the seat right now. They unplugged the remote start. They unplugged the trailer brake controller. A few other things. I can't remember what all he had on his list, but in either case, nothing has helped. So this vintage Ford is very, very common for the gem modules to fail, and that's exactly what I expected to see. However, yesterday when I tested it, battery voltage was good. It's like 12.7 volts. Threw an amp clamp around it. It's drawing 200 milliamps. Certainly won't kill the battery overnight on a brand new battery. And then after about 40 minutes or so, it would drop down to less than 50 milliamps. And that's perfect. That's actually how the system works. So I started it up, fiddle with stuff on the inside, lock, unlock, that kind of things. Left the doors latched, did it again, 40 minutes or so later, amperage right down. Did it for the 3rd time and said, well, it must be the problem's intermittent. Obviously, the customer insists that it goes dead every single night, cannot start the next day. So at that point, it's 5 o'clock. I go home. I come in this morning, just for the heck of it, I check battery voltage and it's like 11.6. Okay, well, that's kind of odd, unless the battery is, sulfating and killing itself, but it's brand new, so, kind of unlikely. But foolishly, I did not have the doors open and latched, and just for the heck of it, I grabbed my amp meter, slid it under the negative battery, took the battery terminal off, and the thing's drawing like 3 amps. I can't get to the fuse box without opening the door. So that's where I'm at. Something happened in, the 8 hours I was gone last night on the vehicle. Something turned on. Something started to make the draw. I think it was relatively soon. So what we're going to do today, in an effort to find this, after that long-winded intro, I'm going to take the Pico, I'm going to put it on a long time basis, like 24 hours across the screen, or however long we can set it. I'm going to put an amp clamp on it, put a voltmeter on it, and just let it go. Let it sit here all day. Now, of course, it did start this morning. It started perfectly fine. If you didn't know what the battery voltage was, you wouldn't have had any idea it was low. So that's what I'm going to do. I've already opened the doors and latched them. Like I say, it was my mistake that I didn't do that before I went home, but after testing it 3 times in a row and having it come up good, I was kind of skeptical that I was going to find the problem. Obviously, there's some kind of issue. So here's the setup I have. Like I said, I do have the Pico hooked up. I've got an amp clamp on it. Probably should have changed the battery in it first. And then just monitoring battery voltage. And apologize for not having, I don't have screen recording software on this Surface Pro here. But we can see we have hour and 23 minutes across the screen. It'll record up to 32 screens. Currently, our battery voltage is a smidge above 12, and our amperage draw is going to be around that 200 milliamps. So yeah, we're just going to let it run. Not unusual on these Fords to see, key off a 210 milliamp draw. And that's just waiting for the gem module or central timer module to shut off. Like I said, it takes about 40 minutes. So I'm just gonna put power on the Surface Pro there so it doesn't go dead and go do my other work. Give you guys a quick update. So here, I just stopped the scope real quick, about, 30 minutes or so. You can see time. Our amperage draw was at the 200, it stepped down, and now we're reading, near 0. If we get the average there, I think you'll find it's 40 milliamps, 30, 15, somewhere in there, below 50 anyways. Voltage is staying steady, so I just wanted to show you that. Find my pen here. And then it's only been on for, oh gosh, what, an hour and some change here. Flip back, oops. Hitting the wrong button. Jeez! There we go. An hour and 23 minutes, and then, hour and a half, we'll say it. Just round it off. So we're gonna let that keep rolling here. All right, guys. So the problem is occurring and anybody who is observant will notice that my time is off from when we started to where we're at now. I neglected to lock the doors on the initial one, so about an hour or so into it, I had to start over. I had to essentially lock the doors. Current draw, voltage trace, we can see here we're about 250 milliamps. You know, across this line, 200 milliamps, it steps down. This is, you know, 40 minutes in. The module times out, and for, let's see, about, oh gosh, an hour and 20 minutes, we're just at zero amps, or near zero, 15 milliamps, let's say. And then all of a sudden, something has happened here, and something has turned on. And I was in the middle of working on another vehicle, so about an hour's worth, I haven't been able to come over here and look at this until now. So what I want to do is I want to restart it, because we're either having a problem with my amp clamp, or the problem is currently happening. Get it? Currently happening. How you like that joke, Hannah?
Ha ha. I almost forgot to laugh.
Almost, huh? Let's see. So we are, right now, we're drawing about 3.5 amps. Oh man, I'm not used to using the whole touchscreen thing. So let's see, I'm going to take my amp clamp off from the device, and it is calibrated, so it is at 0. I'm going to stick it back on. So that reading is legit, folks. So this vehicle sat for several hours, or well over an hour, before whatever current draw happens is happening. And you can see our voltage is dropping now. You know, we're just below 12 volts. And like I say, we are drawing about 3.5 amps. So that's pretty interesting that it has to sit this long for this to happen. But thankfully, it has happened. So I'm going to go eat some lunch. I don't think the problem's going to go away. And then we're going to come back and figure out what it is. All right, lunch is over. Our current draw is still, here I guess we can speed up this time basis. It's kind of hard. Well, I don't want to say it's hard, but it's difficult working on a couple cars at the same time and still trying to keep a video going as it should. We can see about 3.5 amps is where we're at. So we are going to set this to the side, and if anything changes on that, I will let you know. What we're going to do is voltage drop across the tops. Ah, crap. It's got JK's fuses in it. And I don't want to tear them all apart. Wish I had a thermal imager. But we're going to do some voltage drops just across the fuses that are easy to do. These relays don't feel hot. We'll go across ones that are easy to do. Trying to lose my train of thought here. See if there's any draw on those. We quickly could just probably pop over on the alternator. Let me just do that real quick. Let's see here. Let me get that switch where you guys can see it. Or 0. Ah, crap. I'm not even in the screen, fella. Well, you just have to believe me. Whatever. Alright, so let's 0 this out. Alternator's a big consumer. That lady is going to be your problem. I didn't have to put a clamp on it. Awesome. Where's my temp gun? We don't even need thermal imager. That alternator is hot to the touch. Why would it? Why would that thing start drawing current 2 hours later? Let's just see. Oh, just got my clamp going backwards. Holy shnikes. Get in there, little fella. Oh, yeah. Come on, 0 out, you freak. Where are you? Ah, I gotta get it away from the magnetic field. Sorry, guys, just a minute. I'll show you the screen in a second. There she is. She's a big consumer. This thing, the alternator, is drawing over an amp. 2 amps. Why did that just change? My laptop got unplugged. Is this freaking plug-in messing with this thing? No, it's not. Okay. Let me unplug that. The alternator is drawing 2 amps. That's awesome. We got lucky, Hannah. Some days it better be lucky than good.
Today's your lucky day.
This thing turn on? How do you turn this thing on? What in the thunder?
Battery died?
I have no idea.
Never use it.
I think so. It's a wing dong battery in here. You go give me another 9 volt. It's interesting though that is not our whole current draw. At least I don't think it is. Oh boy, she turned on now. Look at that. Fancy. Frickin' Chinese junk. Let's see. Alright, what we got here? Fahrenheit. Ooh, look at that.
Fancy.
Wow. So, valve cover, 81 degrees. Gotta plug my laptop in so it doesn't shut off. 81 degrees, or 83 degrees on the valve cover. Alternator, 112-ish. 115, 117, depends on where we shine the laser beams. It's quite the pattern it throws. Yeah, so 118 degrees is the max on the alternator. Like I say, underhood temperature, rough average, 80s. So, is that all of the problem? I don't know. It's a problem. Let me move stuff here. Doing crappy on the video stuff today. Should have used my other laptop. So we could have a screen recording option. Alright, so we're zeroed out. What is our current draw here? Almost 4 amps, 3 point something, we'll say 3.8. That is coming out of the battery. I'll re-zero it. Up to the alternator here. That's 2. So it's interesting. What in the thunder is going on? Let me think. So we may still end up doing voltage drop across the fuses. However, I'll get some direction first. Wish I had a thermal imager. Whoa! Hang on, folks. Hey, there's Canada. Hope nobody got hurt. I'm not liable if you did. You know how many times we've checked the alternator, it's not the alternator? A lot.
But guess what?
This time, it was dry. Sometimes I neglect to check it, but... did you get an 8? No? Whoever ding-dong worked on this last never tightened it back up. I wonder what they were doing in here. Hey, look, that one's not even tight. Yeehaw. Ironically enough, Hannah, the same people that worked on this one are the same people that worked on that Jeep we did this morning that we did a video on. Okay, somebody's been down here doing some fancy wiring. This alternator is toasty. $1.20 on this side. For what it's worth, not that it really matters. I'll get it. Never mind, you just stay there, Hannah. Need a light, we got a light. So let's see if we can, I hate these plugs on these Fords, just stick them way down inside there. Usually always broke anyways. Let's see if we can, underneath this one. There it is, that is unplugged. Now we will check the current draw. Oops. Too many freaking cords going on over here. We'll check the current draw. Oh, you son of a monkey. I'm having a hell of a time today. Okay, there's that. I'm just going to set it down. Grab our current clamp. It's so much easier with a screen recorder, but... Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Hannah.
You broke it.
No, I didn't break it. It's just when we unplug the alternator, it has no current draw. 0, zippo, nada. So red trace is at 0. However, we're going to throw it back up here. It's turned on, right? Just want to make sure. 0, zippo, nada. Back down. alternator plugged in. We are back to, you know, 3.8-ish, something like that. Okay, here's my hook. I'm gonna re-unplug it. What's changing? That's gonna be the real question. Ah, come on. Oh, stop it, you fool. Get out of there. Okay, alternator unplugged. Draw goes back to 0. Again, the red trace. Well then, we have 3 wires. What can be happening? Can we still just have a faulty alternator? Let's grab a wiring diagram, see who's who, make sure the PCM's not waking up and doing something funky here. I would think if it was, we would have more of a draw, but we still aren't accounting for all the amperage. Very interesting. All right, so I got us a diagram here. We have red with light, or light green with red. So that is light green with red. That's what's that going to be, like our L terminal, I guess it would be. So through the ignition switch, through a fuse, through the instrument cluster bulb. So key off, we should have nothing on this one. Let's make sure our test light works. Test light works. Red with light blue, lightly touch it. No current flow there. Our other one jumps over the alternator to the rectifier. And then the other wire, our orange with light blue, goes directly to the battery through the relay. That one should be full-time power, and it is. So theoretically, yeah, I bet the rest of our consumer is going to be on that wire. In which case, the alternator essentially is being turned on. Let's just test that real quick, because we're looking for what, a total of however many amps we were looking for, 3.8. So let's just see how many amps are drawn on this wire. Let's just make sure our problem is still here now that it's cooled down, I guess. Ah, our problem's gone now because it's cooled down. Nope. Sorry folks, wish you could see the screen here. Let me just figure this out real quick. No, we're still drawing almost 4 amps. Okay, there we go. We're still drawing, let's say 1.5 there. Oops, where is it? Holy smokes. That is the rest of it, baby. Okay, let me change this. I'll get you guys set up where you can see this. 0 out clamp. Oh yeah, okay, so we got more current being lost than what we're reading because I'm sorry I'm jumping around here. I just want to be able to give you guys the whole story because I'm not clicked on where I should be. Nope, because see, I'm using my low amp clamp, so I'm only how do I say this? Based on previous experience, I thought it was going to be the gem module, so I am only on the battery wire going to the junction box, which essentially feeds the gem module because I just basing it on previous repairs. What I should have is an amp clamp with a bigger jaw going around both negatives or both positives so I can see all the amperage draw leaving the battery, because it's some of it's leaving on one wire and some of it's leaving on the other wire. It's going to take multiple paths. So what we can see here, I'll show you, we have a bigger draw than I initially diagnosed, but we did find the problem. Let me get my amp clamp going the correct direction. And you can see we are drawing, hopefully you guys can see, red trace again, about 5.8 amps. And that is just on the power wire feeding the alternator coming directly from the battery. So that's 5.6, we'll say. We've got another, amp or so here. So we'll call that 7 amps total. And where can we go to grab both of these? Oops, oh, that's right in my face. I'll come up here. I have no idea if it's on the screen or not. See, I can't get my jaws closed, so I'm not going to get an accurate reading. I got to get a different amp clamp. Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot. So that is my problem, and even if we go on the ground, I can't grab both of them. Needless to say, the way the alternator works, the fact that, nothing is turning on to turn it on, we'll say, internally regulated, because it has diode pack, the regulator rectifier, everything is in the alternator. There's no input being turned on to it. So we're good. At 110% is the alternator. And, like I say, if we could do, we just have to do the math and add them up. This thing has a massive amperage draw, and it's actually going up now. It's actually up above 7 amps right now. This certainly will kill the battery overnight, absolutely. Why in the thunder did that take hours for that to happen? I have no idea. But I'm glad that we were diligent and waited. Stick that somewhere so I won't lose it. And that we waited for this to happen and just listened to our customer. He was adamant that this truck would die overnight, even though it took us several hours to pinpoint it. Even though we didn't work on it for that long, but the scope did. We just left it there on a long time basis. So that's it. I'm 199% certain there's nothing else it can be. We'll put the alternator on and then double check our amperage draw over time. But yeah, that's it. Fantastic. Never gonna get this right. I just did a whole outro, sweet one too, and had the radio on the entire time. Dummy. And I almost forgot to do it. I'm over changing tires and I'm like, whoa! Truck's done. Diagnosed. Alternator 100% confirmed. Yes, I made a few mistakes along the way because I didn't have jaws big enough on the amp clamp to go around both negatives or both positives, see total current draw, from the battery. That's neither here nor there, I guess. The outcome is the same. Apologize for not having screen recording software on the Surface here yet, so the camera work is a little sketch, but hopefully we all learned a little bit something from it. Why did the alternator take 2 hours to all of a sudden create this 7 amp draw? I don't know. Doesn't, I mean, it's kind of interesting, but you can really get caught in that little rabbit hole, doing that over and over again to see if it's the exact same time, but it is what it is. It's not going to make the outcome any different. Henry's getting the guy an estimate. If we get the job, we'll put the alternator on it and double check it and ship it down the road. In the meantime, I got to get working. Subscribe, Patreon, socials. Nothing popped up there when I did that, but anyhow, you know what to do. Just remind our viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.